Benedict, thank you for being here. Doctor Strange, this is a movie that's been shrouded in mystery in some ways, but one thing that I love about Doctor Strange in the comics is he is such a different sort of character. Talk about what does he kind of bring to the Marvel Universe that perhaps we haven't seen before?
Other dimensions, basically. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff where he's of this world, and yet what he discovers through his learning with the Ancient One in Cumberbatch is that there is a lot more than he thinks there is. And he's a guy who's very in control of his life, and he has a spectacularly bad, out-of-control car accident, and then he becomes out of control. He tries to heal himself, and in the process finds this way to a spiritual dimension and unlocks powers that he is as a surgeon with working hands he never knew existed. So hopefully we take the audience on that journey.
Well, and talk to me about the ancient...
Can I just say, this is my first interview, so this is all coming off. I've been doing Sherlock for the last 3 months. I've been doing a week of night shoots, and I'm literally kind of rewinding in my brain as we're talking.
We'll come back to this. We'll come back to the dimension of Doctor Strange. That's fine. I mean, one of the most exciting parts of this film you just mentioned, of course, the Ancient One and Tilda Swinton. What's that dynamic like between you and her and those two characters?
She's exciting in herself, and what she brings to that character is typically Tilda. It's unique, and she's just sublime. She's a lovely person to work with and a dear friend, and you know, it's magic when you get that kind of level of talent, but also the kind of material that we're working on. And we're both really excited to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and at the same time, you know, we've done lots of other different projects of you know, very different mediums, very different sort of scope and audience catchments, all the rest of it. And so we were both a bit giddy with it. So we really enjoyed that aspect of it. And you know, our costumes, the effects, the real-world environments that they create are just gobsmacked.
It's not all green screen.
No, it's not. It's really not. You know, I've literally out my stripes, which I'm wearing today with great pride. And one of the stuntguys gave me this as, you know, like a thank you, Jim. Actually, he said, you know, Jim Chapman, who is one of our stunt coordinators, I did more flying work almost than Spider-Man in this film because of the levitation, because of lots of running, and there you go. There's a bit of a spoiler. I do fly in this film.
Ooh, exciting!
I think that's probably. But anyway, the point is, yeah, it's a joy when you get to do that in an environment that's not all green screen. You're literally being pulled around sets on wires that are real, and you can point a camera anywhere then, and that's marvelously exciting. It frees you for blocking. It means the end quality of the picture's that much greater, and you can really do a lot of. You get a lot of acting for nothing, you know, because you're actually in those environments, in those worlds.
Well, and talk to me, you know, we've talked already about, here's a character with a lot of internal conflict. What is the kind of external conflict of this movie? What is, you know, what is the kind of like danger that, like, you know, that this world, that only Doctor Strange can kind of uniquely solve?
Like you were asking the first question, what he really brings to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is this whole other dimensional threat that's you know, we've seen bits of it, we've touched on it with New York, and now it gets much larger in this film, and I think that's where his place is going to be in the whole scheme of things as far as the Avengers crew goes. And you know, he starts off in a position which is probably, I'm racking my brains quickly going through the back catalogue, but as an origin story, he's probably in a more normal, big inverted commas, he's the world's greatest neurosurgeon, at least by his own beliefs. But he's a very good neurosurgeon living the high life in New York, and so he's recognisably of our world, you know.
He's not necessarily a billionaire. He's not necessarily.
No, well, he's rich, but he's not that. He's not a Stark. He's not, and you know, he has his past definitely informs who he is, as it obviously does with Tony Stark. But and there's a rich degree of backstory there, which I'm sure will just keep coming out through, you know, our films and also the Avengers as well, I guess. But the point is, you recognise him hopefully as a troper type, very alpha male, very arrogant, brilliant at his job, but human, and alone at the top of his castle. It's very Xanadu-like, his life. It's created a bubble of insularity, and this is all about him going from a place where he thinks he knows it all to realising he knows nothing, and to surrender to that and the beauty of that, and then what can happen, how much more you learn when you do that. So,
well, and talk to me about, you know, it sounds like when we meet him, as you said, he's kind of the king of this lonely castle. Yes. Talk about some of the other characters, and like, are they kind of there to try and kind of bring him down to earth, or to get him to kind of, or rather to get him to kind of connect with people?
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, bring him down to earth, but through the most spectacularly sort of other ways. You know, there's nothing normal about his kind of character arc in this. He learns lessons about himself, which he perhaps always should have known and could have known in a real world, but it takes this extreme accident, and it takes this extreme introduction to this magical side of other dimensional realities for him to finally awaken. And that's really what the film's about, is about his awakening. And, you know, he's a strong man when we meet him. He's utterly destroyed, and God, does he have to fight to get any kind of standing again. And by the end of the film, he's a superhero. It's
now,
the way he gets it.
And you can mention this already, but one of the things I always loved about Doctor Strange is, you know, there are people who fight supervillains who can take on cities, can take on the world. He is very frequently rescuing all of reality, if not more than one reality.
Yeah, he's kind of brackets defender. He kind of holds stuff together in a way that's not always immediately obvious and doesn't necessarily involve fighting a lot of bad guys and stray bullets, but there is that. But you know, it's kind of he kind of tidies up the universe, making sure that nothing breaks through the boundaries of it. That's kind of what he's.
In a way, you could say he's more important than all the Avengers put together. I guess.
I'd like to say that right now. He is more important than all the Avengers put together. Quote. I'm going into a lot of trouble.
Well, fantastic. Benedict, thank you so much. Looking so forward to seeing Doctor Strange.
Oh, hello. I know, right?